today I'm listening to a little bit of Lost Frequencies, a brand new track they've got called Rise, and it's just a really good feel-good tune. So here we are. It is episode 4 already, and we have Chen, 5 times world champion, etc, etc, etc. So we'll wait for him to join, and then I'll give a really good, well, I'll try my best to introduce him really well. And hi guys, thank you so much for joining. We're just waiting for him. There's Antonio putting a little double flip, I see, into the stories. I might have to try that one. It's been a while. So Yifan is here. Look at that. Antonio and Yifan right there together. How cool is that? That is really, really, really cool. So just ask to join, Yifan, and we will get this started. You can just press a button and it should let you join. If not, I can go and ask you to join. I can do this and send a request, and then we'll get you on here. It's weird to do this in the daytime for me. Normally I've had a whole day and then I come and do it at 7 o'clock at night. But a little bit different. Hey!
Hello. Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, good. What time is it there where you are?
It's 8 p.m. right now.
8 p.m. at 1 o'clock here. So I'm going to try my best to introduce you. I'm going to have to read a little bit. So okay. This is it Yifan, as in that's your first name and it's together? Because I always write Yifan Chen, like it's 3, it is together, isn't it?
It's together. Yeah,
I realized today. I'm like, okay, do your homework, Adam. So anyway, so Yifan Chen is from Taiwan. Is that correct? So
yeah.
You're from Taiwan. He's 22 years old. He started skating when he was 5 on rollerblades. So everybody, you can start on those rollerblades. That's quite good. And he is let's go to this next one. So 5 times world champion. So this would be for world skate? Is this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And 2 times the Whisper, which is the World Open champion. And 3 times of the Asian champion. This is Inline. He's also doing quad, guys. So in the quad, he's see, I have to read it because you know it in your brain. I have to read it out loud. So you're the first in the Asian championships when you were a junior in the 16 and senior in 18. And you've also been to the world championships. You're in the top 10 in 15 to 17 and top 15, 18 to 19. So looking at that, it seems like quad is harder. Though the competition,
it's more competitive.
The competition is much fierce. Okay, so let's kind of go back to the beginning, and you can tell us a little bit of story of where you started skating and how you became an inline and a quad skater together. And I think a lot of people think that you were a quad skater first and then you were an inline skater, because that's what I thought, and that's what a few of us thought. Yeah. So tell us from the beginning a little bit about your story.
Okay, so I began with the rollerblading when I was 5. So my parents took me to the park twice a week, and I joined a freestyle skating club. And after I go to school, I joined the school club with the rollerblading. And after that, I started inline figure skating when I was 8.
Wow!
And I started to compete in national competition.
Yeah, so they have a school club for roller skating in Taiwan.
Yeah, it's like a after school skating club.
I need to start that. I need to get the schools involved. That's what we need to do for inline figure skating. Can you imagine? That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll let you continue.
Okay, and then I start. And my first international competition was 2012. It was in New Zealand. Yeah. And my first world title was in 2015 in Colombia.
Wow.
And since 2012, I haven't stopped competing in international competition except last year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that later. How the last year has been. So, for me, so what I'm really interested about is the frames that you used when you were doing inline figure skating. What frames you used, and then when did you change frames and stop using a rocker and obviously when you started quad, like what is the history and the reasons behind changing?
Okay, so first I started with a rocker. It was the Snow White friend.
Yeah.
I used it for a long time, and then I used a butterfly when I was like 15, because my coach said maybe I should try something new. So I tried a butterfly friend.
And this one has no rocker. This is flat,
Yeah,
correct?
it was flat. Yeah.
And did you go from the very beginning flat, or did you try with a bigger wheel to make a rocker, or you just went flat straight away?
No, I just went flat.
Okay.
But I used a harder wheel in the middle. And I now use roll line linear.
And do you have it set on 0?
Yeah.
On 0. So
to make it a flat.
Yeah. So it's funny because most inline skaters, they use a hard wheel at the front to help them spin, and they use a softer wheel in the middle, sometimes more elliptical, to help with edges. Now you kind of do the total opposite. But when I see you spin like one of the best spinning. So what is the feeling for you when you have 3 hard wheels and 2 soft wheels on the side? What is the difference in the feeling for you?
If you put 3 wheels the same, it's difficult for you to curve or turn doing steps, because there's no rocker.
Yeah.
And if you put like softer wheels, the first one and the last one, it creates like edge pressing. Like this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
okay, go ahead.
I find this setup is the best for me.
Yeah.
Not only for the step but also the jumps and spins.
Interesting. And when was the last time you skated with a rocker on inline skates?
5 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. And which hardness are your wheels on the middle, on the outside? Do you know?
I think 76 for the first one, but it really depends on the rink. For different rinks, I have different setup.
Okay, so talk about the. Imagine that everybody doesn't know what you know, and that's like everybody. So for the different hardnesses, for the different surfaces, like I know a little bit about this, but really explain you're skating for 10 years on inlines, more, you're competitive for like 8 years, 9 years. So explain the differences that you've felt from all the experiments that you've done over the years to find out where you are now, so you could give the best advice to somebody.
About the wheels.
Yeah, and the different surfaces.
Okay, so for different floors, I have a different setup, like to find the best for you to skate.
Yeah. So
okay. So I have this kind of setup for my rink in Taipei.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first one and the last one is soft, and the middle one is harder.
Yeah. And is this what you're using outside when you skate outside and it's really, really hard? Is it like a really hard, smooth cement or something like this? Like stone, but very smooth?
Yeah. The outdoor rink is more hard, so I will use the harder wheel.
Yeah. And is that your favorite place to skate, on that type of surface?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it looks like, obviously the coach is Xu Shengdu. Obviously you know them. Like it looks like the place that they skate is like covered. Is it the same surface?
Yeah, it's the same surface.
Yeah, like this surface, it looks like magic. It looks like ice because you can spin forever. It's
more
really
flat.
Nice. Yeah, this is really, really nice. And so for when you're skating, when you have to go on the wood, is it more wood when you would go to Whisper or World Skate? Is it more kind of like wood?
Yeah, it's wood floor. In Taiwan, we only train in outside rink.
Okay, so that must be quite tough when you're training outside on one surface, and then when you go to compete at the highest level, now you have a different surface.
Yeah, you have to adjust them.
And do you get much time when you go there for practice? Is it the first day and it's like, oh no, I hate it?
Yeah, it's so the first day is for you to adjust the floor and try to find the best setup for the competition.
Okay. And the difference in wheels that you're using on the wood when you go to the competition, how much harder or softer are the wheels? Is the middle wheel always the same?
No, it depends. And I think we have like different kind of like more wild wheels and more thin wheel.
And you kind
So
of test when you go.
yeah, you have to test.
Yeah, yeah. See, you have to. It's all about experimenting and testing. Like this is what I keep trying to tell my followers because at the moment, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is the only Jackson boot with golden horse frame and snow white wheels. Because I'm testing everything. I have like golden horse, I have pig skate, I have snow white, I have here the new Jackson one. But I'm testing everything because there's something that I start to really notice is when the wheels are the same distance. It feels so nice when you do forward and backwards turns or rockers or counters. It feels so much easier because it's balanced, as opposed to this is more like what you have where you have a bigger gap and then closer. Obviously, when you skate on anything, you get used to it, and that's normal. But it's I don't know. I'm just testing. I'm just trying different things. So I think it's good for everybody to test and try different wheels, especially the wheels. And I would like to ask you about the stoppers. So you must have tried different stoppers. You must have tried the Snow White stopper. And which is your favorite stopper that you find the best for spinning?
For spinning, I haven't used the small toe stopper for a long time, like the Snow White stopper, and I use the roll-line toe stopper, and because it's bigger, and I think it's better for me to jump with this kind of toe stopper, and for spin I just kind of adjust between the big toe stopper. So for me, the best toe stopper is like the bigger toe stopper.
And is that the classic from Rollline, like the classic one that just looks like rubber, not the white or red or blue, just the classic?
Yeah, I think it's cappuccino.
Okay. Oh, you like the cappuccino one?
They call it cappuccino.
Oh, see, you know who else loves the cappuccino? You know Marta Brevin from
No.
Italy. From Italy.
Okay.
Oh no, yeah, she's on my podcast on Tuesday. That's her favorite as well. Everybody has different favorite. Antonio likes the classic roll line. Anastasia likes the Snow White. You know, everyone is different, and this is why it's even more confusing because like, there isn't just like this is the best. End of story. You know, and then something when I asked the other day, I asked for you, the top skaters, what is one tip for spinning? And you mentioned put less pressure on the toe stop when you're spinning. And this is something I had never thought about. Because when I skated on the pick skate, the P14 is so hard that it's really easy to spin and get a lot of speed. And it's small, so you can kind of get over onto the outside or the inside edge easy to spin.
Yeah.
But then I've been finding it hard until you said that, and then I had less pressure, and then I could spin much easier. And I think what a lot of people do, they don't want to fall, so you put so much pressure when you try to spin, and then you get stuck. Yeah, and like especially if you stay straight, you get really stuck. You go over one side like to help you spin.
I do a little bit edge when I spin.
Okay.
So it's like a little bit like this.
Yeah. Okay. And explain to me when you go to spin. If you had to explain what you're trying to do, let's say on a sit spin, a regular sit spin, what are you trying to do? What are you thinking about doing? Like with your foot position, like the pressure and everything like this.
So I'll put my pressure on the first wheel, most of my weight on the first wheel, but of course a little bit on the toe stop, and try to get my free leg straight, and just find a balance between the first wheel and the toe stopper.
Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting. It's like there's so many people listening to this. Like, okay, I need to practice that. You know, less pressure on the toe stop, more
Yeah.
pressure on the wheel, and interesting. And obviously the same is on a backspin. You know, and so I'm curious. So one of the hardest spins seems to be camel spin, but not for you. Like you do the. I mean, on that before I used to call them stars, but like it's a traveling. You're doing like a traveling camel spin, and then you
Yeah.
spin. I mean, and then you spin really nice. What is your tip for camel spin for everyone that's listening that's struggling so hard?
I don't know. I just we call it traveling.
Yeah,
Traveling.
yeah,
The one before you get into the spin.
yeah.
So I started practicing traveling when I was very young. So and many people will do the mistake is they didn't get the speed and they didn't accelerate accelerate when
Accelerate.
spinning. Yeah,
Yeah,
accelerate
yeah.
when traveling. So just find the best way to do the traveling and get into the right speed for spin.
Yeah, because from my own testing and from watching other people, the limiting factor, like just for someone that's come from ice, it's very easy to get speed into a spin because you can get really deep on an edge and then you can bring your leg around and you can get into a spin. Now, if you
Yeah,
try to do this kind of stuff on inlines, you will either slip when you go to push or you may slip off the edge. So using these techniques of the traveling into a spin, this can work really, really good. So this is always something we're trying to work out, you know, what is the best. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about inline and quad technique for, let's say, for jumping. Do you use the same technique for both, or is it slightly different?
I think the technique for inline and quad is a little bit different. For inline, I think you have to use more your body weight for jump or even doing steps. And for quad, you would require more feet control. Yeah,
Okay.
and most of the quad skater jump on a straight line. And for inline, I think inline is more similar to ice skating. You have to jump
On the
on
side.
a big circle. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, what do you prefer to do? If I was like, okay, you can only have one pair of skates. Which skates would you take?
Inline.
Inline. And why inline?
Yeah.
Because why would it be inline?
Mm, because I started inline when I was child.
Yeah,
So
so it's yeah.
yeah.
I know it's funny for me. So I'm from the ice from 27 years, but now I feel like I found my place and I see so much growth and opportunities here that I'm like, I don't want to go back to the ice. I went a month ago or 2 months ago, and I'm like, God, it's so cold. I wasn't skating. I was just there visiting a friend. I'm like,
Okay.
this is so cold. You know, to train when it's really, really cold, unless you're training like really, really, really hard, it gets cold really fast. But also where you are, and this is why you're training at nighttime, right? Because it's really hot in
Yeah,
the
it's
day.
too hard. Yeah.
Yeah. So that for anyone that hasn't jumped in the dark with floodlights, it's not easy, is it?
Uh, yeah.
You're
You
used
just
to it
have.
now.
Yeah.
You're
I
used
used
to
to.
it. That's why it is. For you now, it's
Yeah.
normal, but at first, that's not easy. No. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about your training. So obviously, you compete in inline and quad at the same time.
Yeah.
My first question: when you do a competition, do you have the same? Is it the same routine? One is quad and one is inline, or is it a totally different program?
Um. And for yeah, sometimes a little bit different. Like sometimes I use the same music, but like for next year, I have totally different program for both inline and quad. So I have to skate full program. But
Wow.
I found like maybe it's easier for me to just skate like two music, one show program, one long program. and both inline and quad are the same.
Yeah, that's what I would think. If it's that would, I mean, that would be easy for training. I mean, so you're
Yeah.
basically training like two people. You have to. I mean, this is also that's really hard. So you have to train twice as long. And so how do you split up? So one, how do you split up your training? So let's say off skates training. So, you know, all your spinning on spinners and jumping off skates, and then also everything you do on skates. And then do you have any dance or ballet training, any fitness training? How do you split these up? And also, how do you split them up with quad? Is it you training off, like your jumps on the floor and you're just imagining for inline and quad? Or do how it is?
I will switch.
Yeah.
So my training session is around 2 hours, including off ice skating, off ice training, off skate training, and so it's about half an hour for off skate training. Yeah, including warm up and off skate jumps, and for 1.5 hours is on skate training.
Okay.
And I skate five times a week.
Okay. So I have a question. So you keep saying off ice. In Taiwan, even though you're not skating on the ice, you can still call it off ice training.
Yeah.
So this is something like I think about 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, you know, I'm doing stuff for my page and I'm putting off ice this and I'm thinking there's no ice. We've got wheels. So I messaged with one girl in New Zealand and I said, "What do you call the training when you're not wearing your skates?" And she said, "Off skates. We call it on skates, off skates." I'm like, "Oh, that makes more sense." I'm like, "Okay, so I'll just start calling it off skates." And then I started calling it off skates like then. And now it's slowly, I think more people hearing this and I don't know, it's cool. But even I say off ice. I made a new 65-minute off skates jump, like just to teach the singles yesterday. And even I said off ice. It's for years, we've always called it off ice. So it's so hard, you know, and maybe I don't know what will happen, but it's interesting that you never skate on the ice and you call it off ice.
I have been skating on the ice. I have been skating on the ice for just half year. I stopped because the training condition is difficult in Taiwan for ice skater.
Yeah. That was when you were 12.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's a long time ago to still call it off ice training, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I mean the thing is, it doesn't matter. We all know what we're talking about. It's just sometimes I see it and it looks like office, like an office that you go to work. Office training, training for the office. You know. Okay, so you're doing half an hour without your skates on the floor, and then 1.5 hours on your skates training. Okay, interesting. So. What do you think is the most important? What is most important for someone to be successful for inline figure skating? What should they be focusing on the most? Like, what is the most important? Would you say?
Do you mean the jumps or spins or steps?
Yeah, jumping, spins. Like, what is the most important? Would you say?
I think all of the elements are important because when you are in a competition, there's not only one specific element you have to do. Like you have to do jumps, you have to do spin, you have to do everything. So everything is important. So yeah. So I will not focus on just one specific element when I training.
Yeah. And what is the hardest elements for you to do, whether it be some sort of spins or jumps? What do you find are really hard on inline?
I think I don't know. I think everything has have their obstacle you have to overcome. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So do you think it's a good idea for inline skaters or quad skaters to switch and do the other as well, to do both if they have the opportunity to do it?
Yes, I will say, if you have time to train in both inline and quad, you can do it, but it's different techniques, so
Yeah.
it really depends on the person. I know there's some skaters competing both inline and quad as well. So, but if you can integrate the both technique from inline and quad, they become your own unique skills.
Yeah.
Your own technique.
Oh, interesting. And like I skated on quads last year for a few weeks. I wanted to go and become a quad skater on the circle, but I never did it. I stayed on inline. But it's so, if for anyone that's never tried quad, that first time you step onto them from inline. So on inline, you push and you kind of slow down really quickly. Well, quad is the opposite, right? You push and you just go forever. I think it's really cool to try. Like soon I will go back to England to a roller rink to work there. So I'm going to get quads and I'm going to learn how to skate. How to skate on quads, because it's such a challenge, and you have to be competitive and like the challenge to start with quad and then to skate and then start jumping and spinning and learning all these new elements. So you must like the challenge.
Yes. For me, it was also difficult when I first skate on quad, and especially for step and spin. Like when I first on quad, I was like this. I keep touch my feet.
And so like doing like rockers and counters and like the difficult steps, do you find it's easier, or which is easier, on quad or inline? Because obviously the technique is very different, right?
Yeah. I think it's easier to do steps on quad, but if you want to do it fluently, inline is more fluently.
Yeah. Mm. Do you think being able to skate on both of them makes you a better skater for either of them? Like for example, let's say for me, if I start to skate on quad, I could be any skater, and I start to get better on quad. Do you think that will help my inline?
Yeah, for me is this kind of situation.
Yeah.
I train both inline and quad, and sometimes I feel maybe my quad technique help my inline techniques.
Interesting. So I have a question. So your coach, who is your coach?
Alex Wong.
Yeah, that's what I thought, that because I see some of his stuff. And how long has he been your coach?
Since I was 12 years old.
Oh, forever. So tell us more about Alex. For anyone that doesn't know him, how long has he been coaching? And yeah, tell us more about him and his coaching style. What do you think is the best thing about the way he coaches, and how do you learn the most with him?
Okay, so I think he has been coached for more than 20 years or maybe 30 years. He's an experimental coach, full of experiments, and he's always patient. Yeah, I never seen him get angry at the rink.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
you can always discuss with him for anything. Yeah, so I think that's the best part of him.
Oh, that's great. That's really good. And
Yeah.
so who is your, like, when you were coming up, before you won your first championship, before you were the world champion, who were you looking at? Who were you like? Who were you chasing? Who was on the top of the mountain and you were chasing? You're like, one day I will beat you. Who was that person, or who were those people for you?
So there were Carlos from Argentina.
Okay.
And there was Anup Yama from India, and
From,
there are some wonderful inline skater from Taiwan too. So like Chen is the other inline skater, and he won like first medal. Yeah, he won gold medal in 2012, I think. Yeah.
okay.
So
Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's. I mean, in Taiwan, it's really. Would you say it's in Southeast Asia that it's the biggest in Taiwan for inline skating?
yeah, I think so. We have a lot of inline skaters.
I mean, you may even be one of the biggest in the world. I mean, I wouldn't know how to put you against Spain or Italy or anything, but it's you guys are really. I mean, the level is so high. It's so high, and I have to believe this is the quad connection, the quad inline connection together is really complementing each side of the same coin. You know, so it's really interesting for me. To the more I look behind the curtain of what's actually happening with quad, because most ice skaters and inline skaters, you don't even see the world of quad because you look at ice and you only see ice, and then when you start seeing more quad, and you're like, something going on there. The technique's a little bit different, but
Yeah,
the technique has to be perfect because on quad, you have to land perfect. You know,
yeah.
you
You have
can't
to
like
be
you
very
can't land
precise.
like you can't land sideways. Like on inline, you could land on your toe sideways and just come off. Like we call it a seven because it looks like the number seven. But
Hmm.
you can't do that on quad. You have to be perfect. So the technique has to be even better. It has to be so straight, like
Hmm.
so straight. And so something else that I've noticed, you can tell, those are things that I notice and I think, but maybe I'm wrong. On quad, you have to land. Do you land on all four wheels flat?
Yeah.
And I forget now. Do you use the same technique on inline, or do you land on the toe and then ride the edge?
Uh, I use the technique to land on the wheels on quad. For inline, it sometimes difficult for you to change between inline to quad and quad to inline. So sometimes I'll
Yeah,
do the mistake with landing inline with my wheels like this, and then put it on the toe and slide.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
think it doesn't matter if you land on the wheels or you just land on the toe stop, and but in the end you have to slide
Yeah.
no
It's
matter what,
just
no
yeah.
matter what.
It's easier to control if you land on the toe and then as you come onto the wheels and you bend, it's just easier to control. Otherwise, you land and then unless you landed perfect, you're going to go forward and hit your toe and then you end. We know what that
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
like and
yeah.
we know what that feels like. It's like didn't want to feel that. Didn't want to feel that.
And
Okay, so
landing on quad is difficult for me.
oh,
Landing on the wheels.
I can imagine.
Sometimes I get confused between inline and quad.
Yeah, I can imagine. So last year when I went to Vegas and I was learning the circle act, I was learning it with a girl that was on quad skates. So I was on inline and she was on quads, and we'd do these tricks, and then she would have to land. And if she didn't land on all four wheels, she landed like this. Then she was like that. And now
Yeah,
I got her some inline figure skates, and she did the tricks on those, and she landed every time so easy because she didn't have to be flat. She could be sideways and it was easy. And I learned from that. I'm like, oh, it's much easier for the girl. It's much easier to land on inlines than quad. You know,
yes,
so
yeah.
it's interesting. Okay, so do you have any sponsors? Are you sponsored by Edier and Rollline, for instance, or?
Yes, that have been my sponsor when I was in junior categories.
Yeah, but
So I
now
use
no.
their boots. Yeah, now still, yeah.
Oh, okay, since then. Oh, you're like, no, now they
Yeah,
don't
since then.
sponsor me. They're like, you have to keep them. Oh, that's really, really good. Okay, what else do we have? Yeah. What is your what is your like near-term goals and your long-term goals with your competitive skating? Like, what are you aiming for now?
Um, I think it's to do all triple jumps, and to do a perfect program in the competition. because I always had some mistake in the competition. So I think my goal is to skate a perfect program in the competition for the
and what
next few
yeah
years.
and what jumps do you have now? What jumps do you have consistent that you can like, okay, I will land like 3 of 3, I can do them like this. What do you have now?
I can do like triple circle and triple toe and triple loop. Only triple flip and triple load, I still can land it.
No. Oh, interesting. Yeah, flip was like I mean, I'm talking doubles. I did not have consistent triples, but flip was always the jump it felt nice to do. I always like that, and axle as well. But oh, interesting.
I
And
always
what?
feel difficult on flip. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you not feel that loop and flip it and is very similar because it's taking off the right foot and as you go into the air, do you not feel it similar, or for you it's like two totally different jumps? One I can do easy, and this one it doesn't work.
For me, it's just different jumps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although they are both take off from the right foot, but for me, it's like different techniques.
Okay. So if you were going to, when you watch your video, imagine the video is it's me and it's you, and you're like, how would you coach yourself? What do you think you should do to land your triple flip?
Because I always put too much weight on my right foot for doing flip, so I will say put more body weight on your left foot, and my left part of my body can rotate when I doing flip, so I'll try to glide on the floor for my left foot and try to go as more as I can.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's talk about falling, because when you're pushing, you are literally at the top of the sport, above everybody, and you're trying to go even higher. So you're going to fall. And so how do you manage like minimizing injuries from falling? Like how do you do this?
So you have to train step by step, so you don't have to put your expectation too high. So you have to just do what you can do, like right now, like step by step, and keep progressing.
Yeah, and
of course you will fall sometimes, but just shake it off and get back to your feet.
oh, that's it there. Shake it off and get back to your feet. And do you wear any protection or nothing?
No, I don't wear any protection when I jump, because like sometimes like stuck, like it doesn't feel well.
Yeah, it feels strange, doesn't it? If you like imagine you're off skates, you practice your jumps, and then you put the padding on to go jump, and now it doesn't feel the same. It needs to feel the same, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. What is the next one? So, what is your best advice for someone that is just starting to skate? So maybe they're just starting with inline figure skating and they're just starting at the beginning. What kind of advice would you give someone?
I would say don't forget, don't be afraid to try new things. Like, and find your skate body, and then you can skate together.
Find your skate body, like skate buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, your skating buddy. Yeah, I think that's really important, isn't it? If you're starting something with somebody else, and then you can kind of compete with each other, you're helping each other, and it's just more fun than being alone, because you can be alone in this sport quite easily because it's you against you. But at the beginning, it's just fun, isn't it? When you start something new and there's no expectations, you're just doing it for fun. Like I love to try something new because it's just a little bit more fun sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
Interesting. So let's And what advice for, let's say, skaters that are like just getting to that, they're just getting to their axle. Now we all remember, you get your loop and suddenly you get flip and Lutz, and then you get to axle, and it's like you're playing a video game and you get to the boss and you just can't get past it, and you can't get past it. Do you have any advice for someone? Maybe it's from yourself, maybe it's something that you see your coach doing with the new skaters coming through. What would you say the best advice to get past the axle would be?
Don't be afraid to do mistakes, because we all learn from the mistakes. So
Yeah.
yes, you have to try again and again, and somehow you will pass it.
Yeah, because it's up here, isn't it? The axle, you know, you're like, oh my God, it's like an axle. I've got to go so far, you know. But then somehow we all did it somehow, didn't we? We all got past it, but it's tough.
Don't have to think too much.
Yeah, until you get to double axle, then it's like, okay, here we are again. Here we are again, but now it's even harder, you know. But okay, so let's switch and talk a little bit different. Let's first of all tell me your favorite competition that you ever did. So maybe well, you told me you didn't skate perfect, so it can't be where you skated perfect. But where, just your favorite competition, like you went there and it was just a great experience. Like, where was that?
Okay. I would say the 2012 New Zealand World Championship, because that was my first time to compete in World Championship. So you get a chance to see all the best skater in the world. So
Wow.
It was an eye-opening experience.
Wow! And
what? So after the competition, I have to, I can skate harder and train harder after the competition.
Yeah. So was this the first time you got to see kind of some of the people that had been inspiring you and kind of maybe your idols a little bit, and now you saw them in the flesh? And did you feel like they skated faster, or did you? What was the energy that you felt seeing these kind of skaters when you went there?
When I was in the competition, I kind of get very nervous, and I will skate faster than I used to skate in practice. Yeah, so I skate more fast. I skate faster, and my coach just told me to slow down and just do what you did in practice. Yeah,
it's hard, isn't it? When you get nervous, it's like you have all this extra energy and it has to go somewhere, and it's just through the muscles.
Yeah.
But then you can get ahead of the music, so you're like, oh no, I have to slow down. I have to hold my spin longer, you know.
Yes.
But this can be one of the best things in the world for anyone. Imagine you live in a small pond. We say like you're a big fish in a small pond. So you're in a small pond, and around you, let's say for jumping, everyone around you is doing like single axle, and you are there doing like triple salco, but there's nobody around you doing triple flip. There's nobody there for you to chase, you know?
Yeah.
So when you go to the competition, you see all these people, and that gives you so much energy to go home and now train even harder. You know, like they always say, the kind of a perfect situation for anyone that's trying to be the best in the world is that you are kind of, imagine you are in the center. So you are teaching someone is teaching you, and you are chasing somebody else. So you have everything. You have someone to go for, you're helping. So you're not just, I'm the best and that's it. You know, you need to be looking up and down, and, you know, it's, I don't know. I think that makes sense, or maybe not.
That makes sense.
But it's always cool to see someone great, and you're like, I want to do that one day. Even if you're young, you know, it's good to have someone to kind of chase. But then once you, at the moment, are you like, so you're the number one in the world at the moment, is that right? Would that be a correct statement?
I think so.
Yeah. So then where does your energy come from? You have nobody to chase apart from your own goals, right? It's you against you. I want to do a perfect program. I want to get all my triples. So this is what you wake up in the morning for and go training for. Is that right?
Yes, yes. Um, Except for doing a wonderful program, I think the more important is like the component, like the artistry. I have
Yeah.
to showcase to the world, to the audience. So I've been working on like my choreography and dance for a long time, because when I was child, I didn't get a chance to train like ballet or contemporary dance.
Yeah.
So and I found that it was important
Oh,
to
very
have at least
important.
all kind of elements.
Yeah. I
So
think you can
not
see. Yeah.
not just focus on the jumps or spin,
Yeah.
but also on the choreography.
Yeah, I think if we look back in history, I mean, my history is ice, so it's hard for me to look back the history of quad or inline. But if I look back of years ago, where it was just very much just jump, it was very different. And now you
Mm,
see people that spend so much time on dancing and choreography and ballet and the lines, especially look at the girl. I mean, you look at a lot of the girls, they're so flexible. I mean, all this off skates training from the last year, everybody is really flexible now because
yeah,
everybody. Or what you can do, you can go on your spinner, and you can stretch and do some jumps on the floor. So everybody seems to have got better for this.
yeah.
It's
There's more and more way to train figure skating.
yeah. So tell me how it's been the past year for you. Through the pandemic, were you able to train at all? What was the longest period that you couldn't skate? Like, how was it for you?
Okay, so it is interesting because um Taiwan is well controlled for the COVID-19. So our rink didn't close, because I know a lot of rink in the world was closed. So we can still train outdoor, even
Yeah.
indoor rink. So, but just we don't have international competition to compete.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We still have national competitions.
Interesting. And so, in Taiwan, how many clubs are there? How many quad? So, is this how it works? Is there one club and that does inline and quad, or are they separate clubs? How is it?
Uh, some clubs are combined inline and quad, and some clubs are separate.
Okay.
Like for the skater from south of Taiwan, there's club only for inline skaters, and there's club only for quad skaters. But in my club, there's both inline and quad skaters. Although
Uh,
there's not much inline skaters, there's
okay.
like only me in Taipei. I'm the only one inline skater in Taipei. The others are
Wow.
just small kids.
Yeah. And what is the name of your club?
Uh, we call it a team. Like it's uh I don't know the name because we don't call our skating club a club. We call it just like a team.
Okay. Oh, so it's
Yeah.
like the team of Taipei, would you say, or
I think it's Little Snow.
Little
Little
Snow?
Snow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Skating
It,
club.
it's
Little
it, it's
Snow
funny. I
skating
just
club.
remember now. I've been to Taipei. I've been to Taipei and Taichung when I was
Okay.
21. So 19 years ago. So you were 3. I was there with Disney.
Yeah.
I was there with Disney on Ice. It was.
Oh, okay.
I joined Disney on Ice when I was 21, and I joined in Taichung, and then I went to Taipei. And
I
God,
have seen Disney's on Ice in Taipei.
yeah, yeah. It's
Maybe I saw you.
yeah. For a kid, Disney on Ice. It's amazing. Like I have a daughter, she'll be 3 in 2 weeks. Now she wears Elsa and like the
Hmm.
costume. She calls herself Elsa. I'm like, Nell, I'm Elsa. I'm like, okay. So she is in this. I can only imagine for her to go to watch Disney on Ice and to see it for like a little child. This is amazing, you know. So hopefully all these shows are starting to come back now, and then people can go to do these fun activities.
Yeah,
because I think I would be happy to go to Disney on Ice. I'll go to any show right now. I think everybody would love to go to watch a show. They don't care. It's ballet. I don't care as long as I can watch a show and I'm not looking at my TV for like one day.
yes, yeah.
You know. So tell me a little bit more. Oh no, okay, that's where we were going. I wanted to ask you how it is to compete for Whisper and for also World Skate, which is I think now it's called roll art. So one is like the World
Whisper and World Skate.
Yeah. Yeah, one is ISU and one is roll art. Is that correct?
Yeah. So basically, they are the same scoring system, but with different regulations. Like for World Skate, there's only, we call it quality of execution. We call it QOE, and it's the same thing on ice. It's called GOE.
Yeah, grade of execution.
Yeah, so on roll art system, there's only -3 to +3, but I know on ISU systems there's -5 to +5, and in component there's only 4 types of component points on roll art system. So there was skating skill, transition, choreography, and performance.
Okay. And when you're doing these competitions, which did you enjoy better, or did it feel almost the same for you? You're just skating your choreography, or was there extra elements, or you had to do things in a different way for World Skate or for Whisper? Like, did you think, okay, I need to make sure I do my spin like this, or I'm allowed to do my spin here, I'll get points, or these kind of differences?
Okay, and also the how they score spin is different. For example, for roll art system, you have different points from different precision. Like you have 1 point on your camel spin, you have 1 score for your C spin, and I know for Whisper system, there's only 1 score for your whole spin. Like you have a combination spin, like level 1, level 2, level 3, and you have to change position. And for World Skate roll art system, you don't have to change position or do a lot of feature for get higher level. So when I first compete in Whisper World Open, it was 2017, and I didn't know this kind of regulation at first. So I do the same spin. I do the basic camel spin, basic C spin, and basic upright spin, and all my spin were level 1 or best level.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest difference. So the last year when I compete in Whisper again, I start to do some feature, like trying to pull my leg and trying to twist my body while spinning.
Yeah, yes. Do you think this is because the World Skate has come from quad, and typically maybe they're not doing these different positions in a sit spin because it would be really hard, and the Whisper has come from the ice where it's super easy to spin, and then you can do these extra positions. So then that is translated to here, and this is translated to here. Does that make sense?
Yes. If you do like difficult position for spin, it's more difficult for quad. But of course, they give you extra point, like a percentage of award, a percentage of more points.
Interesting. So what is the best? There's 2 worlds. There's like the quad ice. There's coming to inline World Skate. roller that's coming to Whisper. So this is where we are. There's two different worlds. But now, how do we merge those to make the best for judging and for skaters competing so they're not confused? How would you do that? If me and you could do that, if we're like, okay, we're gonna fix this, we're gonna make it so it's easy. How would you do that? What would be the best way to do that?
I don't know, because that's not my
Yeah.
like, it's for the federation. It's the job of the federation. We can only like follow the rule and try our best to compete with in this rule.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we can change to make it like combine to each other.
Yeah, it seems like it would be good if on one side, if you did get the similar points for all this extra stuff. But from what I hear, this world skate is becoming more with the inline skaters now. There's more happening. I mean, every year I'm sure it becomes more, and there's more countries. And like now, I'm talking with the UK Federation to create inline with the UK artistic, because we have nothing for inline figure skating. We have something called FARS, Federation of Artistic Roller Skating. I'm already having meetings with them to introduce inline, which will go with them, but it's a long process. I think this is what every country has to do. Like, you only have quad, and then you want to do inline. Okay, we will do it with the quad, with the artistic, and we will try to make it work. But it's hard. It's hard.
I think inline is a new sport.
Yeah. It's not that new, but it's new that lots of people suddenly know about it. I think from the pandemic, everybody get the skates, and then lots of people
they are from ice skater.
From
ice.
You know, so at the moment, I'm curious how many people, because a lot of ice rinks closed, right? Around the world they closed, and then lots of people got inline figure skates. But I think a lot of people, as soon as the ice rink opens, they will put those down. They'll pick up the ice skates and they go back to the ice, because
maybe,
you know, I think for a lot of people it's much easier unless you have a good surface. Because most people in Europe, anyway, in England, you're skating on the street with stones and stuff. I mean, can you imagine you go to jump and spin here?
No, I would never do that.
Yeah, but this is all people have. And people really want to jump, and they really want to spin, and they try to spin on the street.
Wonderful skater doing triple jumps. They are from ice. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's this. You know what I would love to see? So you must know the top ice skates in the world, like Yuzuru Hanyu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he put on some inline skates and he trained for 6 months? I would like to see. That would be a good experiment, wouldn't it? He'd come and train with you for 6 months. That would be fun for you, right? You get to train with him for 6 months on inline figure skates. That would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be. I would love to see some of the top guys. And you know what I'm sure is happening, like in Russia, you know, when they have there's kids that are 10 doing all triples already on ice. Imagine imagine in 10 years what it's going to be like in Russia with inline figure skating. Because a lot of skaters that they just didn't make it in Russia because there's thousands, so they go for inline. And I think it's going to really, really push the sport, you know. But it's interesting. So tell us a little bit about your pair skating.
My pair skating?
Yeah. So
okay.
I'll tell everybody a little story. Yufan told me the other day that he actually was watching my Instagram to learn how to do some pairs.
Yes.
So tell us about some of the pairs that you've been doing.
So I joined the performing crew. It's a traditional Diablo dance theater. So we start to make some. I do some perform with them last year, and there's a new show coming this year. I'm the director. He told me he wants some pair skating. So I started to try pair skating, like lifting, and I don't know how you call it, like
the spinning with the aeroplane and the different tricks.
Yeah. How you call it?
Well, I mean,
or
there's
the element.
there's that one element where the girl is like an aeroplane. So I
Yeah.
think you were doing the aeroplane, but it's I don't know if I would say it's easier or harder because this is everybody. Obviously for me, it's really easy for me now to go and do a triple jump. It's not easy, but that's easy for you. So it's different. See, what you should have done, you should have just called me, and I will come and you can jump, and I will pick you up. I will do the tricks with you. That would be fun. That would be a good experiment. You may be. How tall are you?
I'm 178 centimeter.
Okay, so you're taller than me. I'm only 174 and a half.
Oh,
I used to be 176, but I'm getting old now. I'm shrinking. One day I'll be like 165.
Okay.
But when you tried to do pairs, did you what was your expectation? Did you think, oh, this will be easy or this will be hard? And how was it for you?
The lifting is always hard for me, like because I never train my upper body too much
Yeah.
for lifting. So the lifting is the hardest part.
Yeah, it's literally the opposite of what you want. If you want to spin really fast for jumping, you want to be light and thin. You don't need to have like muscles up here because that's no fun to jump, is it? Interesting. Do you have any questions for me whilst we think about something other?
I saw you went to the World Open. Was it for pair skating?
Yeah.
Okay. How was it?
Oh, so it was really funny how this happened. So Lisa Perez, who was putting on the event, she messaged me and she said like, oh, can you and Rosie come over and do like an exhibition from Your Britain's Got Talent?
Okay.
I was like, yeah, sure, why not? We can do that. And then she's like, maybe you want to compete. I was like, compete in what? She's like, compete in pairs. I'm like, I did some like, this is like pairs. I'm doing adagio, acrobatic, it's different. And I did some pairs on like this on the ice. I'm like, on inlines, pairs. And like, okay, what do I have to do? And I look and I'm like, this will be interesting. And so we look at we were like, okay, we'll do the adult. It's like only 3 minutes or something. But then we're too young. I mean, I'm not too young, but our combined ages were too young to do the adult. So we have to do the senior, the 4 minute, the full routine. I was like, okay, we do this. I mean, we do like world level? No, but we did enough, and it was just more fun. It was more fun to do. We had to jump. We had to do a pair spin, a death spiral, a throw. We only did like a single, and stuff. But it was fun to go, and the experience there was so cool. It was so cool to see the championship.
I like the competition on Webstar, like World Open.
Yeah. So, but you know what I found really kind of scary? So it's really hot in Italy. The door is open, and especially when you're training, you're sweating, and it's going on the floor. And now, and then I
slip.
And I'm doing a lift with her, and I'm rotating. And one time I felt my foot slip.
Oh.
This is something. I mean, just for single skaters, imagine you land your triple salto, and then you go through the sweat. You know what's happening, right? You've fallen.
Yeah.
Is this a big problem for inline figure skating, even for where you train now outside when it's hot?
It happens most of them on the indoor rink, on the wood floor.
Yeah.
And sometimes it happens. So
sometimes shit happens, right? Hopefully you're not lifting a girl like this. But this was really cool for me to go there and do this. I'm like, and when I went there, I don't know what my expectations were of inline figure skating, because I just got these skates to go and pick up a girl and do some spins and do the talent shows and this kind of stuff. And I go there and I start to watch, and you see the small ones coming. And then you start to see the better skaters. And then I see Antonio, Chiara Sensori. I'm watching them training at first. And I'm like, oh, actually, there's some good skaters here. And then you see the small Russian skaters. And on the ice it would be like triple, 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 triple. But here it's still like double axel, triple, triple, no, double, 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 like just like so many doubles. And I'm like, they will be triples soon. Like, I'd be interested to see where, though, the skaters I saw then, they were really good. Where are they now? You know,
It must be very good.
Yeah. Like when I was there, I thought, oh, this would be cool to start to get into coaching. But at this point, I still wanted to do shows and I still wanted to do all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'll come back to that. I'll come back and, well, now here we are. And it's still so new. It's still exciting, I think, inline figure skating as where it can go. And I know there's more than one name for it. I know it's been called artistic skating. Is this from quad?
Yeah, it's from quad.
Yeah, because they call it
skating.
Yeah.
So they call it artistic roller skating.
And what have you thought of? What have you called inline skating? Have you been calling it inline figure skating?
I don't know. I call both inline figure skating or artistic inline skating.
Yeah, there's so many names, isn't there? Some people call it inline figure skate. Oh no, figure inline. It's like, so that's why I'm like, okay, we just have IFS and we just call it inline figure.
Inline figure skating, yeah. Well, someone have to define that.
Yeah. So I made these because I have a big competition coming up on April the 15th, and it's going to be a world competition. And it's not like you have to do this spin and you have to do this. Think of an exhibition. So you have 90 seconds to make the most fun number you can. You can do jumps, spins. You can have costumes. You can have lighting. You could do it in a theater. You can do it wherever you want. But you cannot edit the video. You have to make one shot. You can video it whenever you want. It doesn't matter. You don't have to. Okay, on 3 o'clock on Sunday you have to do it, and it's raining. So what do? Do it whenever you want. And so I have 7 categories. The top category is double axel and above, and yes, it's men and female. I don't have that many prizes. I have 7 boots and frames as first prizes. So you can win real prizes, right? You know, one is from Golden Horse and some others. But there's a lot of fun stuff. So I'm hoping that a lot of people will get involved, and I'll be releasing more information about this soon. I will send the information to you so you know. So maybe you want to get involved, or maybe some of your friends. It will be fun. It'll be really fun. Yeah. So, and I think I'm just trying to look at my questions that I had for you. If there's anything that I've missed, is there anything that you would like to tell us about? Like how do you think the best way for me, for you, for anybody in other countries, what is the best way to make inline figure skating bigger? How do we make the sport grow? How would you say that? What's the best way to do that? Apart from like talking to each other, like this is obviously helping. Well,
yeah, I think we have to cultivate more inline skaters, like around the world. Like for me, I will start in my country to cultivate more inline skaters to compete in national or even world stage, and to develop more skaters from Asia, like because there's like only 4 or 5 nations skating either quad or inline in Asia. So we have to create more and more country to involve with this sport.
Yeah, it seems like the competitions is important because it gives the skaters something to look for. You know, okay, I want to, even if it's just a small like in England, imagine like Manchester against Liverpool, like a football, you know, but it's like 2 small clubs against each other. You know, then you kind of have a path. You know where you're going. So the competitions is good.
Competition is important too.
Yeah, it's good.
So more and more world open or competition to compete is good for the whole sport.
Yeah. So then so everybody has to do my competition, which will be soon. You'll have six you'll have 6 weeks to make a number. So and this is how it happens. So once you submit your video, once I have all the videos for one category, I will watch them and I'll video at the same time, and I will make a video. Then this will go onto a YouTube, and everyone will tune in for the premiere, and you watch the video and you get to watch all the skaters, and then afterwards you vote in the comments. Like everybody can vote. You vote in the comments for who your favorite was, and that's how we find out, you know, who was the best. So it's not me judging. It's not behind closed doors. Okay, this person was first, and because I mean I could be wrong, but a lot of the online competitions, you submit your video, and then nobody sees the, you know, it's not online for everybody to watch together, right? How is
Yeah.
You know, so you work and nobody sees it. So yeah, so this is why I want it to be more fun exhibition. Everybody gets to tune in and watch together. And whilst you're watching, there's a chat on the side, so you can all be chatting. Oh my God, they were so good. That was nice. I like this. Oh, what is he wearing? You know.
Yeah.
So I just want to create something fun for the community. I think that's what's good, isn't it? You know.
It's good.
Yeah. What is your best tip for jumping? Like, what if I ask you what's the best tip for jumping? What would that be?
To skate faster, you need speed to create the time in the air.
Yeah.
So try to skate, try to jump with speed.
Okay.
Not slow down and jump on the same spot. So you have to jump for distance.
Yeah, it's hard when you're learning a jump and you just go so slow. You jump and you go backwards.
Yeah. So I always train my jump with speed. Although it's kind of scared at first time, but you have to do it.
So I'm just going to go through and see what questions we had. So Kobe Harven asks, for a sit spin, which entrance do you prefer? From an inside 3-turn, or from a mohawk, or what do you prefer?
I always do sit spin with combination, so I don't just entry to do a sit spin. But I prefer to do if it's for a show. If it's for a show, I'll do like a butterfly entry or like fly death drop entry because it looks cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what for someone that's learning to spin? Because so this is some things that I was testing different things, and so from a backwards crossover, I always found it hard to step onto the left outside edge and get speed because it would slip. And then I tried the right inside 3-turn, and this was quite good. And then I tried a mohawk, where you do a mohawk, and then you step onto the left. And for me, I found that to be quite good. I mean, what have you found from these type of entrances, like the normal entrances, not butterflies and like traveling spins and all?
Okay. So the first one is backward crossover.
Yeah.
The first one is backward crossover and right foot straighten.
Yeah.
And mohawk.
Yeah. Which do you prefer out of these? If you're going to do these, do you just do normally the right inside 3-turn most of the time?
Yeah.
Because I think I've seen. Yeah, because I've watched like a lot of your videos, and that seems to be what you like to do. So someone says, how do you do a good T push? What is a T push? Am I stupid?
I don't know what is the T push. Like,
is that standing in a T and then pushing? I'm like, bend your knees and then push. Maybe I don't know.
Like
I'm not.
Big skating starts.
Oh, maybe. So I think we covered everything. What else didn't we cover? Oh, so do you want to tell us a little bit about your studies? So you're currently studying, right?
Yeah, I'm studying in university for master program.
And how many years do you have to study?
2 years. So I'm freshman, the first year.
Yeah. Okay. And how's it going? Do you like it?
Yeah, I like it. It's about like sport management, or like our program called International Sport Affairs. So it's like all the sport federation thing, and like IOC, international federations, and stuff like that.
Oh, interesting. So when you stop competing, and I know you're still so young. When you stop competing, do you want to go into coaching, or you want to go more into sport management? You want to go that direction?
My plan is get my master's degree, and maybe I will become a coach.
Interesting. Yeah. So I'm just thinking if there's anything more, because I feel like I've asked you everything, but there must be something else. Which area would you focus on for your thesis? There's a question for you. So which area are you going to focus on more for your studies?
It's from my classmate.
Oh, it is? Oh. Oh.
I'm not going to answer that because I haven't decided yet.
Yeah. Oh, so they being funny, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about something different. So do you like football or soccer?
In Taiwan we play basketball and baseball more than football or
and
soccer. But I like soccer.
Yeah, but do you play other sports then? Oh, I'll reword the question.
I play baseball and basketball.
And when you're playing baseball, which position do you prefer? Do you prefer to be hitting, or do you bowl? Is it bowl? No, it's
A pitcher.
Pitcher. That's it. I'm like, it's not bowling. That's cricket.
Okay, so I prefer to be the defense side.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
cool.
my father liked playing a slow softball. You know that? Yeah. So sometimes I went play with him.
Okay.
In the weekend. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, so I think we did kind of cover everything, and well, we've already 1 hour 15. That's quite good. And so, when is the could you repeat which stopper you use? So he likes to use the roll line cappuccino.
Roll line, yeah.
Yeah, I have to.
It's bigger.
Yeah, I have to try this one. I have to try. I have to try them all. It's like Pokemon. You've got to try them all. There's so many stoppers from roll line. There's so many different colors. So you've got to try them all.
I think they are just different hardness.
Yeah.
So
and nice, it's cool. So anyway, I think we'll wrap up the podcast here. And thank you so much for coming on and giving us your time.
Pleasure.
Your energy, your knowledge, your expertise, and your stories about your life. It's really interesting for me, and I think it was interesting for everybody that tuned in. And your friend came here with his silly question. What? But yeah, thank you so much, and hopefully we'll do something like this again in the future.
Thank you. Yeah.
When is your next competition? That would be a good question.
I hope it's World Championship this year, but we don't know yet.
Okay, so well, I will keep following what you're doing and keep training hard. And thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Much. It's
you're very
pleasure.
Very welcome.
Nice to meeting you.
You too. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Okay. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.